Welcome to Cut to Fit. Cut to Fit is going to be an alteration series, the various problems that people have. And today, we're going to replace a zipper in a jacket. So my client has this jacket, and when she purchased it, this what happens sometimes: the zipper break on metal, the teeth come up missing, it don't zip and operate the same. So I picked the other zipper out, the original zipper. The original zipper was green. As you can see, we couldn't find it. The designer had the zippers made to match the garment. So she ended up having to purchase a black zipper because she needed a separating zipper. So I picked it out. You want to make sure your thread match for sewing it back in. So you want to take the time to pin the zipper in first. So I have the one side pinned, and then you want to pin both sides. You want to leave it zipped. And then I would take the other side and pin it because it's a seam at the waist. The other thing I did, I picked the sleeve lining open because I need to sew both sides of the zipper on the outside first, then on the inside, and I'll show you how to do that. And then I pull it through the sleeve, and then I would just take the sleeve and put it together, back together when I finish, and just edge stitch to close it back up. So here we want to take both sides of the garment. We want to match it up. Make sure that the seams, when you finish, that they line up exactly the same place. Here it needs to match, and again it needs to match right here at the collar. So I would do that. I recommend that you do that before you sew it together, and it's really a good idea that if you're not a professional, that you baste it in first. Do a long running basting stitch, quick, fast by hand. So this zipper wouldn't match all the way to the bottom and then all the way to the top. So I made it like a 1/4 inch shorter at the bottom and then the same at the top. Then this tape is wider than the original tape. So I moved it over, and I'm going to follow this little woven line. So you may have to pick your position on your tape and use that as a guide for sewing. So that's my guide. And then when I finish sewing it, I have to go back and stitch the front first, the right sides, then join the two together from the inside, and I'll show you that. And then I have to go back and top stitch it. But the reason why I'm pinning it away, because you don't want the fabric so close to the teeth that it gets jammed up while you using it, while it's in operation. So first I have this pinned, and some of your foot you can move it and slide it and make the adjustment, and some of them you can move your foot, your needle position. So my foot is already set up to where I want to stitch. And I'm going to just follow the original stitches and stitch the zipper in the first position. So we want to follow that. Take your time so you don't have to rip out stuff and fix it. Just take your time. I'm just take my time and follow the original stitches that were already here and already had it pinned in place. And like I said, it's a good idea to hand baste it. You rather do that, take the time. It's like when they say measure twice and cut once. So you rather just hand baste it if you're not sure. Stitch it. Zip it up. Make sure everything is lining up perfect. And then sew it. You can leave the basting stitch in or you can pull it out. It's up to you. But we want to stitch these together the same way the manufacturer did it, because then you'll get the exact same fit. So I hope you can see the stitches. My husband did not want to record me, so he bought me this tripod. So guess what I'm doing? Trying it out. So here, when I get to the zipper pull, it's going to be in the way. It might make it shift. So what I'm going to do is unzip it. I don't want to sew around the pull. It's going to shift the needle off and change my sewing position. So I move that tripod right out, that zip pull out of the way. And then I'm going to continue to stitch. So I'll zip that down, and then you'll do the same thing with the other side. So I'm going to continue to stitch this up. Now here at the top, that's the collar part. I'm going over this seam. My stitch came loose when I picked this out, so I stitched it back together. So you want to stitch everything back together the way it was. And my zipper, this tape, I folded down in the back, and I folded a little bit slightly on the angle so that it won't stick out in the front. I know for sure it won't because I pinned it that way. So it's going to be out. And I'm going to go and back stitch. So always secure it. This one to get stuck a little bit right there. Still do. Give it a little help. Now, you want to finish the back of it. It's lined. And I want to take this and flip it. Put right sides together. And then do the exact same thing. Line these two up together. I can see my stitch. So if I wasn't sure where to stitch at, I could see my stitch. Because my thread matched. And I can see this seam. I'm going to make sure I put these right on top of each other. And take my time and stitch it all the way down to my bottom. And you know that might be a little thick right there in that spot. You may have to move it around a little bit to get your foot to stitch over it. That's okay. Take your time. And the other thing is no tape on this where it was interfaced and fused to this. So you want to take your time and make sure you're not stretching the fabric. So again, it's a good idea to even hand base this side to make sure everything is lining up exactly the same as the beginning. So this, when we close up this side and the other side, that's why we have to pull stuff back through the sleeve and close up the sleeve. So I want to stop here so you can see. That we have these lined up together. Push it all the way out. So that then the teeth is exposed, and then see the top stitch, I was tie-dyeing some fabric. That's why my fingers are dyed red a little bit. I was a bad girl, didn't put on my gloves. Pick all this extra thread out of the way, and then I would just go back and top stitch the exact way the manufacturer had did it in the beginning. This is an easy way to replace a zipper. Take your time. Hand baste it, make sure everything is lining up perfect. We do that all the way to the bottom, and then you will be sewing just like a pro. You can do the same method on a sweater. If you knitted a sweater or crocheted a sweater, you want to put a zipper in there. So may God bless all of your sewing projects, and I'll see you next time on Cut to Fit Alterations.